Hey champions, this is Arian Tyson out of St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm just coming back at you to shoot a video on this Monday evening here in the STL. It's been raining off and on today. It actually just got through raining, so I figure I'll go ahead and crank out this video. It's been an interesting day, but I was really challenged, and I literally got my rear end kicked in by a amazing business partner of mine, and I want to talk to you about something that I heard her allude to on this midday motivational call that I was on earlier today. And I want to challenge you, while encourage you at the same time, to stop arguing for your limitations. Let me preface my comments. Oftentimes, we are our own worst enemy. And there are times where we find ourselves having to shake hands with our worst enemy, ourselves. The problem with that is we have been conditioned to do things in a manner that is so jacked up and is so far-fetched, where we spend a lifetime and we waste a lifetime attempting to capitulate to something that we shouldn't be capitulating to. Now, what I mean by that is we've always been taught to be as close to perfect as possible. You know, whether it was in grade school, middle school, high school, we were always judged by our grades. And that if we don't have good grades, then we can't go to college or we can't get a scholarship. And then, of course, the rules change because you've always been told if you get good grades, you can go anywhere. But then somewhere along the line, experience outweighs grades. But, you know, nobody gave us that memo until we've, been turned down for some jobs and so on and so forth. Whereas now grades really don't matter. It's experience. And so, but I want to talk to those who have, for whatever reason, been discouraged to go after their dreams. Allow me to encourage you to stop making excuses and stop holding on to your limitations. I know people that use their limitations as a crutch. They hold on to it. You even see it in movies. One movie that comes to mind is, and it may sound crazy, is the movie Madea Goes to Jail. And it's the scene where Madea is actually in jail, and they're having I guess you could say, a Bible study with the prison minister. And there's this convict who is constantly complaining about the fact of something that her father did to her, and she can't let it go, and she's constantly holding on to it like a crutch. And Madea, even, this is like one of the rare scenes where Madea actually says something that's relevant, but Madea is actually telling her that, you basically need to let that go. You need to let that nonsense go, because while that person, that person ain't thinking about you. Why? Because they're going about living their life as they should, and you sitting up in jail harboring and holding on to stuff that is keeping you bound. And so many people are keeping themselves bound because they refuse to go after their dreams. Why? Because on one hand, they think that they're afraid to fail. But I've come to discover that they're actually afraid to succeed. They're afraid that it just might work. You can't have true progress without struggle. It's not possible. And so what gets me about it is life and death really is in the power of your tongue. And so with that, we have to be careful to stop to stop arguing for our limitations. But here's the thing. We're not supposed to know everything. That's what the purpose of a team is. That's why it's so important to lock arms with people that are where you want to be. Why? Because they've paved the way. They've gone through, they understand the hurt that you will undoubtedly encounter. The disappointments that you will undoubtedly encounter. But see, what I've noticed is people are afraid to go through learning experiences. They are afraid to go through the process. And the truth of the matter is, even though money is attracted to speed, you cannot microwave success. There is no such thing as an overnight sensation. There is not. And one of my mentors said it best, E.T. the hip hop preacher. He said that, what's amazing is how people think he's just an overnight sensation, but what he's doing, he's been doing this since the 90s. It's 2014. And he is highly successful. But did that success come overnight? No. He had to go through a process. And once he finally tapped into the greatness that was within him, he has been able to pay it forward to people like me and thousands and hundreds of thousands of other people. Because he spoke life into them. Did he know everything? No. I mean, he was a high school dropout, and he's, very transparent about the fact that it took him 12 years to get a 4-year degree. Doesn't mean he had to know everything. He had to be available. He had to be available. He had to be willing to put his ego to the side. He had to be willing to learn. And that's what has to happen to us. We have to be willing to learn. We have to stop using our quote unquote limitations as a crutch. Because because once you get to a certain age, we're tired of hearing that. You got to come up with something better. I mean, I'm just saying, you have to come up with something better. And so for those of you who are, who specialize or who are guilty of using your limitations as a crutch and allowing yourself to remain stagnant, I challenge you right now to cut it out. Stop lying to yourself. Stop sitting here saying that, no, that's not me. You know if you're guilty of it or not. Now, if you're guilty of it, you need to stop it. If you're not guilty of it, and you see somebody that's guilty of it, but you don't say something, then you need to stop that, because that means that you're guilty too. No man or woman is an island. And I don't care how many times you hear someone say they're self-made. They're self-made this, they're self-made that. People take that out of context. Someone had help. Someone helped them along the way. They looked up to someone. They studied someone along the way. Someone blazed the trail, or they set it in a manner where they failed so horribly that they decided, okay, I'm not going to go that way, so I'm going to just turn around and go this way. But you got to be open. You got to be willing to listen. And you have to be willing to make a decision. So I challenge you, if you're ready to make a decision, and stop harboring and stop holding on to your limitations. Everybody has limitations. When are you going to stop living by yours? Because I would rather get paid off the efforts of 100 people than off 100% of my own. And yes, I just paraphrased J. Paul Getty. So I challenge you to click the link below this video and lock arms. Lock arms with me, and I will plug you into our awesome, amazing team. There is no I in team. And the fact is, we don't care about your limitations. But we know that you have something of value. And it's time for you to bring it to the table. And it's time for you to stop making excuses. You want to break through? Once you take care of this, you will see this. But you got to make a decision. Click the link below. We'll see you on the other side. Peace.